make poor money decisions, make safe money decisions with the Safe Money Book from the Alliance. Only at shopthealliance.com.
What's up, dog? My name's Elliot Gorog, and I'm with Pet Health Matching Account Services. Now, I know it's a dog-eat-dog world, and, you know, looking at the spots on the carpet, there have been a lot of dogs in here probably talking to you about other benefits. Well, what we're going to talk about are benefits that are going to last forever. The reason why you want the PHMA is because we're going to save your owner a lot of money, and when we save your owner money, that means there's more treats for you. Now, you like treats, don't you? Now, don't you want your owner to buy you more treats? For every dollar your owner puts on the PHMA, we give them $2 of paid up medical benefit that rolls over every year, and they can use that at any veterinarian clinic you choose with your PHMA debit card. Do we got ourselves a deal? Great. I'm glad you made that decision in wanting to purchase the PHMA. Who's a smart doggy? Who's a smart doggy? You're a smart doggy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. All the way from Louisville, Kentucky, let's hear it for today's special guest host, Mike and Noel Leventoven.
Fired up.
That's right.
Excited to be coming to you live from Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you, Billy. I like being introduced like that.
That's right.
Tell you what.
Need to bring Billy with us, like when we go home, and introduce us to our kids that way.
They might get a little more excited, won't they?
That's right. We need that. And Billy, we got a new job for you, buddy.
Oh, Lord.
Crazy good. All right.
We got a lot of special guests on the call or on the TWC today. Thank you, Andy Albright, for having us on, inviting us on to host. And we were traveling last week with Andy, weren't we?
We were. I tell you what, that if y'all have not been with Andy on the road, whether you're there for half the day, the full day, dinner with him, a night out with him, early morning breakfast, at the treadmill with him, I was like, if you get that chance, fight for every second you can get.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I think on Friday I was with him. We were both in the gym at 6:30 in the morning. He was there before me. We was having breakfast together. We was on the plane together. We were at the training session together. We were sitting around. In fact, it was the scariest thing. We're in Indianapolis. I saw one person sitting down with Andy as he's eating lunch. I'm like, what's wrong with this picture? So I started dragging people up to have lunch with Andy. It's like, here's a guy who's worth like, I don't know, $100 million. And there's ain't nobody sitting here asking questions. I'm like, y'all get up in his face. Come on. And then we're just hanging out. And then we went to dinner with him. And then after dinner, he's like, hey, come back to the suite if y'all want. It's like, we're thinking, well, we got a couple-hour drive, but shoot, we can get time around this guy. We're going to do it. You know, so I mean, it was a full dose from 6 a.m. to midnight, just being around him, and as much as he'll let us in. And it's the beautiful thing is he is accessible to those that fight for his time and are doing things. You can learn so much. In fact, here's what's crazy. We were sitting there having an adult beverage, and we planned the next trip with him. It's like he gets out his iPad. We're having fun. And for those, in fact, if y'all want to know fun, I don't know if you like clowns or not, but if you like being entertained, you are going to want to be at our May.
Some people like clowns. Some people don't like clowns.
I know our son is terrified of
this clown. I think you'll like this clown. Could be one, could be the other. I think you'll like this one.
Yeah, we don't know.
It doesn't matter.
We don't know if it's going to be Clown Hutch or Clown Manly, but one of them is going to be clowning around. And if you haven't heard about this, it's like, you're going to have to make some calls. I thought Inside Edition, People Magazine might be having a take on this. I'm not sure.
It's out there now.
Oprah Winfrey wants to interview the winner, I think. So we'll see what's happening. But
there's competition happening.
There is competition.
Suffice it to say, you need to be there May 7th, 8th to find out what the heck we're talking about. May 7th and 8th, you do not want to miss at the corporate headquarters this event. This is going to be a huge deal.
It will be a huge deal. But while we're there, is that we got this throwdown happening. People like FaceTime and screenshot, whatever is going on in Andy's suite. But then Andy starts looking at his calendar. He says, he said, okay, Sunday, get your pens out, get your calendars out right now. I'm giving you lowdown breaking news. Sunday, Andy's going to be in Atlanta. That's Sunday, March 28th. Then on Monday, the 29th, he's taking the jet to Wichita, Kansas. I didn't know anybody actually lived in Wichita, Kansas.
Oh, there are people in Wichita, Kansas.
But evidently there's enough that we got some agents there that are blowing up and doing some things. So Andy's going to be doing meeting and training in Wichita, Kansas on Monday, the 29th. Then they're coming back east, and they're going to be back up in Cleveland. I tell you what, we was at that Holiday Inn in Cleveland. It was so crazy. There was agents swinging from the chandeliers. It was just like mind-blowing what was going on. I mean, we had the lady at the front desk threw one of the agents out because it just got a little bit too crazy. In fact, Chris Hill snuck him in the back door, brought him back in. But bottom line is, it was a little bit crazy. You don't want to miss out if you can get to Cleveland on the 30th.
They're crazy up in Cleveland. They're blowing up.
Mike and Carrie Williams, oh my gosh, they had a crew there. It was cool. And if you got people you want them to know about and be there, you had Ed Soto, dude. You'd think he had a jet because he was in all cities. We come to find out that man just drove through the night to get to all these cities last week. But that guy's got a dream. His team's on fire and following him, and he had people in all those cities. So that was crazy cool.
Andy's going to be in Cleveland on
the 30th, Tuesday the 30th. And then they're going back to Indianapolis on Monday the 31st. And so Monday the 31st. And then from there, they're going to Burlington on April 1st. And that ain't no April Fool, but that's five cities in 5 days. And so just a heads up, so y'all get this. But guess what? That all came together because we're just sitting there talking. We all start getting our calendars out for, okay, what's the next move?
Well, you know what? Yeah, that's how Andy does it. That's his secret, everyone. You want to know his secret? He writes it down and puts it in his calendar while he's thinking about it. And then he makes sure he makes it happen and is there. Once it's in his calendar, he knows he's going to do it. And that's a tip for all of us to do.
Yeah. And in fact, he was kind of leaning, should I do it or not? We're like, Andy, have another glass of wine.
No, we didn't say that.
Okay, we just poured it.
He just went ahead and did it.
And he did it. And he's like, I guess I committed. Let's go. So anyway, so Monday morning we were getting text and emails saying, hey, this is happening. It's a go. So just being around Andy, you have the ability to influence what's happening. So fight to be around, get to one of these cities coming up. It's going to be crazy fun. All right. If y'all didn't know, things are mind-blowingly blowing up right now. I just like, as we watch stuff happen, I mean, I had a note from Stephen Davies talking about their record submit last week for their team, just going like crazy. We've got people, first-time agents breaking numbers and stuff like that, and that's kind of cool. By the way, Tia, if you could, Tia James and Pamela are looking to get elevated. If you can make sure we can get them on, because they're one of our guests, and I think they're live, but just haven't been elevated to the panel here. So what I'll tell you, though, is with the growth that's happening, I mean, we're seeing it in our organization in a big way. I mean, with what we see happen, we're tracking, our tri-state hierarchy is tracking to do $1 million a month.
We're doing $1 million a month.
We're doing $1 million a month.
Tell you what.
And we're shooting right through to $2 million a month. And we're looking for people that want to be part of the growth and what's happening. It is crazy. I was just talking to someone today, you know, and it's funny where we're finding people, but the strengths that we have, and you'll hear about this in terms of the ARC and the system that's there, what we have in terms of lead tools, the fact that we have crazy level of support throughout the community to help agents that are learning.
Hey, nobody's got the support like the Alliance.
Oh my
does.
gosh.
Nobody out there has the team and the support and the willingness to come together like the Alliance does.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And to get very specific, whether it's on the annuity side and the RIA with Chris Norris, and in fact, last week, there was more breaking news behind the scenes on what's going on to help bolster our RIA business and the support you have in helping your clients protect and grow their retirement
Does
money.
everyone know what a RIA is?
You know what? Probably need to stop and explain. You really, it's like RIA stands for Registered Investment Advisor. And so when we say RIA, we refer our RIA is BAM, Burlington Alliance Capital Management. We call it BAM, silent C. And BAM is there, number one, to support you in your business. It's to help you. So when you find a client with money, you've built a relationship, you've helped them out with a life insurance, you've helped them out with a Medicare Advantage or Medicare supplement. You find they've got retirement money. They're concerned about what's going on, craziness in the market. They're concerned about not losing money. They're concerned about not outliving their income. We've got the tools. A lot of people have no idea about the hidden fees in their current portfolio from their 401k that they still left at the previous company because they're scared, don't know who to trust, don't know what to do. They're scared. Maybe they've moved to, you know, one of these other RIAs that charge them like 1.5 or 2%. And they might say, we're charging you 1% plus other fees that are kind of hidden and sneaky in the way they're built in. And it's kind of deflating some of the growth of their money. Well, with BAM, they've got some of the lowest costs available with good quality money management to help your clients actually grow and keep more of their money. And that really is a big deal. And so the things that Chris is doing and Andy's supporting them with and what Integrity's coaching them do is just amazing. And how as you take the time to build relationships with your client, finding that they have money and learning to work with Chris Norris, and whether the solution is part annuity and part managed money or all annuity, or maybe all managed money with the idea of migrating to annuity over time. You say, well, why would I want it to all go into managed money now? I said, well, if it all goes into managed money now, and Chris builds the trust with them, as they decide to take some money out of the market and off the table and move it into an annuity, Chris is going to make sure that he's the one that's recommending it and recommending you as the agent to get that business. Number one. Number two, you're going to get compensated on the managed money because there's 15% of the management fee is there for the agent that's helping to bring the money in the door. And that's every year.
That's mind blowing.
So it's just
Anyway, this isn't an annuity seminar.
I know, but just it's like if you can't
Just
get
an
excited,
excitement seminar.
I know. So if you're not thinking about that with every client you've got, I'm like, please just learn a little bit
That's
more.
just one piece of the support that we got, but we could talk about that all. That could be a whole nother seminar.
It could be. It really could be,
Anyway.
but it's like, who else has got that in the industry?
Nobody got that.
Nobody's got that. You add on the Medicare side with the Medicare compensation, the help and support to access when you're with the client or getting ready.
The highest Medicare compensation out there across the country, by the way.
Yes, that's
so,
a huge thing. The
anyway.
compensation plus the support, you can't get that kind of a combination. And then you start to look at what do we got with like Gina Hawks and the support her knowledge on the life side, where it's the IUL or just straight life coverage and the tools we've got. It really is unbelievable. Okay, so
if you're on this call today, you're at the right place at the right time with the right people. Okay, and we're going to show you. We're going to talk to some of those people that are putting the action steps in to write 10,000 a week consistently. 10,000 a week, and we're going to have them talk about how they're doing it. But really, what we need to do is talk about this leaderboard that we got coming up. So we're going to show you the leaderboards real quick, and then we'll get right into it. Okay,
there we go.
So T, if you can put those up. All right.
Let's see. Oh,
Let's start with the 40-40 Fight Club here. Let me pull this up over here.
All right. So on our 40-40 Fight Club, hey, this is big.
There we go.
Because if we look at the 40-40 Fight Club, I've got to mention that these are the people that are selling and recruiting. They're selling and recruiting. They're booking 40 appointments a week, and they're talking to 40 new people a week, or that's their goal. Now, guess what? On this contest, if it takes you 2 weeks or 3 weeks to do it, but however long it takes you to book 40 appointments and talk to 40 new potential agents, it counts. So every time you fill up 40 and 40 and submit your information, that counts as a week. And as you do that, you end up on this leaderboard.
And there's a link that you can submit it to.
The link is out there on the private Facebook group page. Your manager's got a copy. The link did change about a week ago. So if you don't have the new link, please ask for it. We got it for you. We want to make sure you've got that. But just know that, hey, doing 40-40 is what's going to take your business from you starting off at 0 to doing 10,000 a week, 50. Well, maybe it's the 10,000 a month issued. Then it's getting to 10,000 a week. Then it's getting to, hey, where you're starting to pop 30, 40, 50,000 issued in a month, which we've got people doing, but also to be building toward agency manager, where your team's doing 50,000 a month and building to 100,000 a month, and then teach and get one person to teach them 40-40. Now you've got multiplication in your business, and you've got another, you find one more that's doing 40-40. Next thing you know, you've got a hierarchy that's doing 100,000, 200,000 a month. You get a couple other people doing 40-40. You got about 8 people consistently doing 40-40. That's partner material. That's really, if you got 8 legs doing 40-40 with one person each leg, you are closing in on partner. And I tell you what, we're going to have some partnership announcements coming soon, and you don't want to miss out on that. But you want to be thinking, how do I get there fast? And 40-40 is where it starts. Go ahead.
Well, you get me excited again. I'm fired up. So let's do this. Let's look at this list right here. We got some people. Where do you want to start? Like the one with.
Let's take the top 10.
Top 10.
We'll mention Jim and Nikki Long because I like them, but we're going right into number 10.
All right, number 10, Steve Maxim, fired up for you. Way to go! 2 weeks in, we've got D. Henderson. Way to go, Richardson team. Carrie and Tia Edwards. Way to go. We got Mindy Shipley under the Riddle team. 3. She's already won her hat, her pants, and her hoodie. Fired up for you. I think Mindy's pretty new with us. James and Pamela, they're on the call with us today.
That's right.
You got one more week to get the tumbler, man. Rake it all in. Get all the good. Get all the goods. Way to go, Jake and Bell Krause. They got one more week. Let's go, Jake and Bell. And I know they're out there working hard for that too. And then we got a winner, Alfonso Thomas, on the call with us today. Woo! Alfonso, Fonz, we like to call him. He's got all the goods. And another goodie that he told me about, trip. I think Andy's doing some trips for these people too. I mean, I tell you what, Andy's laying it all on the line for the people that are working. Jara Gonzalez. Woo! She's got all the goods too. Earning her trip too. Jake and Veray Joseph, hired by Jara. They got it. And then Stephanie Rodriguez earned all the.
Hey, here's what you gotta like. You know, for someone like Jared who's doing 40-40, but you've got one leg doing 40-40, it's like, okay, you're looking for one more to do 40-40 along the way. That's why you're doing 40-40. To find some people who want to help families, that want to help change the world, one family at a time, but then are focused on who wants to multiply that along with us. So that's huge. All right. Tia, could you go ahead and bring up the other, the one-page leaderboard where we've got our submit leaders on that? There we go. Perfect. Thank you. So for our submit leaders for the week, we're showing Rory and Rory Bean and Ariel Bean clocking in with 16,000 in premium with 6 life apps, 3 of them are IULs. Diana Castile clicking in at 16,900 on 17 applications.
Diana, way to go. Out there working.
And Bubba Skinner, part of Paul Roberts' team, clocking in 17,000 in premium on 12 apps, 3 of them are IULs. So congratulations, Bubba. Big part of Paul's team. We're excited to have you with us.
Bubba's out there working. He's a worker.
Here's one thing, man. I think Bubba's a cool name, but man, if you're sitting here thinking, I'm being outworked by a dude named Bubba, it's like,
I don't think Bubba would care if we said that.
I love it. All right. So here we go with our issue paid folks. Brant in Gel, clocking in 8,600. This is issue paid. I mean, it's been approved. The money, his commissions have come in with 10 apps. Jake and Veray Joseph with 8,600 on 9 applications. Tiffany Bibler, if I'm saying that correctly, with 6 apps, 8,700. Diana Castile, again, on Davies' team, 12 apps, 8,800. Danny Johnson, 16 apps, 9,100 premium. Jeff Schultz, part of Brandon Manley's team out there in Texas, 13 apps, 10,000, way to go. Thomas Murphy, 6 apps, 11,200. Jeff Turney and Kelly Haney, the duo at 15 apps, 11,400, rocking and rolling. Olga and Jason Mathis, you see their name on the recruit leaderboard. This couple is focused on doing some stuff. 6 applications, 11,900. Jonathan and Megan Yakey, 11 apps, 12,100. Dan and Deanna Mirdo, part of Adam and Beth Katz's team, got to see him here recently. I love what he's doing. 10 apps, 15,000. And Megan Wood, 37 applications for $16,785 in premium, and with us today. Megan, way to go. You see her in her car. She's out hitting it again. I know she's already written out today.
All right. Top 5 annuity producers issue paid this week. Jeremy Patton, 45,000. Norman Gordon under the Marisi team, 61,000. Chris Vader Rabideau, I hope I'm saying that right.
Chris Rabideau.
That is 75,000. And I didn't know it was Vader. Is that Chris? The one
Vadner. Yes.
Vadner. Yeah. Okay. Vader, like Darth Vader. I'm gonna change your name to that. I guess. Carnicia Stewart under Patton's team, 105,000, and Chester Bailey under Carey Organization, $110,000 annuity issue paid. I'm loving those names, those new people out there. Make it happen.
Yes. All right, our annuity producers we just covered, and our top 3 Foresters agents. We love Foresters and what they're doing for families. Danny Johnson, 11 apps, 6,000. Tiffany Bibler, 3 apps, 6,800. Jeff Schultz, 9 apps, 7,100. Way to go. And jumping into our recruiters, because if you're going to grow, you need to be finding you some people and getting them helping us out. Noel?
Yeah, with 2 recruits, we have Alex Fitzgerald, Brandon and Ashley Beal, Jeremy Patton, Steve Maxim, Mike and Brittany Rodriguez, and Olga and Jason Mathis, all with 2 recruits this week. 2 people hired on, 2 people sponsored to do this business, baby.
There we go.
Mike and Noel Leventovich had 3. Yeah, that's how we say our name, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Joseph 2, Mike under the Rodriguez team with 4, and then Paul Roberts and Andy Riddle with 5 each in their organizations.
There we go. Hey, I know that those guys are leading and they're helping. They got staffs helping. They've invested in growing their business. So way to go. All right. So we promise you, showing you how to get 10,000 a week done. And the first thing is everybody here on this call is doing 10,000 a week. They're doing it consistently. They're going to talk about how they've done it. And we're going to get into the nitty gritty and help you out. So I'm hoping you all that are listening are taking notes. And I think it's important. They've each got some differences that suit their style, where they live, how they do things. If they're newer and they have a book of business or don't have a book of business, if they've been around and have a book of business, what are the things that they're doing? So we're just going to jump right in. I'm going to start with Angela. Angela, go ahead, kind of let people know where you are living, get you unmuted there, and give us kind of a quick snapshot of last week, and then some of the details that help make last week cook for you.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me on the call. Honored. And hi, guys. Angela Manzo. I am currently living in Ponte Vedra, Florida, which is outside of Jacksonville. Originally from Santa Barbara, California. They are shut down, so I'm still quarantining here. But I think one of the biggest things is I have my GMR set up for out here. So when I made the transition out here during COVID, I made sure to set up some GMR. So I had consistent leads coming in every single week, and kind of adjusted from there with Ashland. And then also talking to you, Mike, putting a lead budget together. Previously, I was doing $500, $600, $700 a week in leads. And then you had talked to me about, okay, well, if we're going to be running 40 appointments a week, we need to increase our lead budget to, $1,000, $1,200 in order to get your 40 appointments. I resisted in the beginning a little bit. I was like, I'll be able to make it work. No, you need leads to be able to book 40 appointments, or enough people to talk to. So the big change was upping my lead budget and making sure I had enough leads to dial, enough appointments booked. So last week, my lead budget was $1,200. It was, 14 mortgage protection, 13 final expense leads from my GMR. And then also I used my CRM. So it's already set up. When it's someone's birthday, you're able to just call them. Who doesn't want to be called on their birthday? So everybody is happy when you call them. Everybody is open to you calling them, and you're calling them because it's their birthday. So it's not like, hey, I'm calling you about your insurance. You're calling about your birthday, and just naturally, progressively having a conversation with them to see what's going on and what they've been up to. So I was able to do some policy reviews. About 5 of them were policy reviews, and 1 of them I was actually able to do a conversion off of. So I wasn't able to, make a sale out of all 5 of them, but I was able to do a Forester's conversion. That was the only policy she had. And so she wanted to make sure she had something permanent.
So Angela, real quick, I'm going to pause right there. So those CRM leads of yours, how much do you have to pay for those 5 CRM leads?
They are free. Nothing. Nothing.
Isn't that awesome? I told you this was going to be an excitement seminar. This is what's exciting.
All right. Now, real quick, I'm just going to jump in here because some people are saying, well, how do I get a daytime? Well, you already have one. And so if you've been,
and guess what? Guess how much it costs them? How much, Angela? How much does it cost?
$0.
CRM is free when you're an agent with us, right?
No, that's crazy. I mean, because if you try to go build your own, or let's say you go to Salesforce, is this awesome company. And if, first of all, if you had what we created for you for free with Salesforce, they would charge you somewhere between $300 and $500 a month for that service.
Yeah.
And you would have to have an assistant, or you'd have to be an assistant to enter all of your client data for you. Here, the system, the technology is free, and it's automatically loaded. It's almost like you've got, one of the, how they have, what do they call them, virtual assistants. It's almost like you've got a virtual assistant that's typing it in for you in some like island or country where they don't speak English and they just do the work. Except
they could speak English
they might,
if they wanted to.
But bottom line is like they're sitting there helping you, and it's electronic, so there isn't a virtual assistant per se, but it's out there. So you use that. And guess what? You might say, but Mike, I've only been here 5 months. I've only been here 3 months. I've only been here 6 months. Well, guess what? Every one of your clients should be added in. I would suggest start looking at your Today tab now and train yourself to look at that once a day and to reach out to your clients and give them the birth a heads up. Mike, I'm going to be traveling. I'm taking Sundays off. Well,
we're going to have Megan talk a little bit about how she goes back to her client a couple days after she actually sits with them the first time.
That too.
So.
Bottom line is, but start to train yourself to look at your today time. Look at your birthdays. Angela, I interrupted. Keep going. Talk about the other big things that helped you out last week.
Let's see. So CRM, leads, also door knocks. I did, I think, about 6 door knocks last week. So I was able to get into a couple more homes right on the spot. And then I was also able to book appointments out for the following week, which helped set up my week for, this week. So I already ran those 2 appointments. So those were the big contributions to the $10,000 week.
When you did your door knocks, were those off of leads, current clients, referrals? What were you working on?
Those were off of leads that I couldn't get a hold of.
That you couldn't get a hold of.
So how many total dials did you do last week?
Last week was 302 dials. It was 57 connects and 31 scheduled appointments from those dials.
And then how much premium did you end up writing?
10,366.
There we go. Solid week. Okay. So now that gives you a snapshot of 1 week. Angela, what are you shooting for this year for premium?
Oh, I'm sweating. So my original goal was really low and embarrassing.
We don't want to say there was no original goal. What's the goal now?
So my new goal is 400,000.
400,000. That's 400,000. Right.
So about 30,000 a month.
All right, 30,000 a month, smoking it, hitting 400,000 issue pay. Is that going to be a record for you?
That would definitely be a record for me.
That's going to be awesome.
Thanks,
awesome.
Mike.
Okay, well, that's cool. All right, we're excited for you.
Real quickly, and when you're doing a call for a birthday, let's say you're calling me as a current client, what would you say? Let's say ring real quick. And I say hello.
I'm like, hey, Noelle, it's Angela, your old insurance lady. How are you doing?
Hey, Angela. I'm good.
Awesome, Noelle. Hey, happy birthday. I can't believe it was your birthday a couple weeks ago. How was it?
It was awesome. Thanks for thinking of me.
Of course. What'd you guys end up doing?
We just hung out, had cake. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Your kids get to hang out with you, or just your husband, Mike?
Oh, the whole family was together. It was great.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, good. Well, I just wanted to check in, see how you were doing. So what have you guys been up to lately?
So you get into a little bit of small talk?
Just kind of progress from there and just sound interested and see what's new, because some of these people I haven't talked to 3, 4, 2 years. So
how long would a typical call go for small talk? Like a couple minutes?
It just depends. Sometimes I'll just let them talk. Like a lot of my California clients, they're older and they haven't talked to anybody or don't get to see anybody. So they're just like throwing up all over me. And so sometimes you just got to sit there and play solitaire while you're talking to them and just letting them speak and talk and like, all right. And then they're like, oh, by the way, I was thinking about, how's my insurance doing? I was thinking about what would it cost? And sometimes those conversations, that's how, they end. And then we're looking at adding coverage or helping with, did we get your wife covered? I see we got you covered, but, did we do anything on your wife? And then just have it naturally flow from there.
Just transition to, hey, we haven't talked about or reviewed your policy in a while or whatever, and then naturally go from there. So it doesn't have to be a big deal, right?
No.
So I just wanted to get that out there for people, because they probably are wondering, what do you say? Well, happy birthday would be good.
Good start.
Good start. So,
yeah, there we go. All right. Well, good. Angela, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. All right. Awesome. All right. Well, next up, hey, Mr. Alfonso. Tell everybody a little bit, where are you from? What did you do before you got started with us, buddy?
Yes, sir. I want to say hello to everybody out there, and thank you for joining us. And I am fired up. I am really fired up down here in Miami, Florida, Sunshine State. Let me tell you, really nice and warm here. I was in the education business for over 30 years. And I tell you what, having this opportunity is a blessing. I'm having so much of fun. I door knocked this morning, Mike. 4 door knocked this morning, got 1 out of 4. And, what kind of business that you can have, you can just go out and help people and, build a business. I'm just happy.
So Alfonso, I want to clarify because I'm not sure if everybody understood what you said. So when you door knocked, first of all, you took leads that you hadn't reached before. Is that right?
Yes.
You knocked on 4 doors?
Yes.
How many people answered the door?
I had 3 to answer, and I had 1 that I had to sit down with.
One that you sat down with, and did you help them out?
I helped them out.
Of course.
Yes.
You help out everybody you sit down with.
Yep.
Yeah, what kind of question?
There we go. All right. And so I think that's important because a door knock can
Yes.
turn into an instant appointment for those that don't know that. Okay?
Exactly. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, good, buddy. Talk to us about last week. Kind of numbers from last week. Let's start with how much premium did you write last week? How many applications? Then we'll talk about how you did it.
I tell you what, premium AP, I did 10,284. I had over 250 dials. I had 45 contacts, and I had 33 appointments.
Okay.
Out of those appointments, I was able to help 10 family and wrote $10,284.
Okay.
Right at average about $1,000 annualized premium per family.
And,
Yep.
and you know, it's crazy. A lot of times we talk and we say a lot of what the averages we share is if you'll book 3, you'll sit with 2, you'll help 1. And so you booked 33 families. You probably helped 10 or 11 families, and that's what you did. So
That's what I
it's
did.
not like you're particularly massively great as much as you just focused on following through and putting the work in. Talk to us about the lead mix you had to get those appointments.
Well, I tell you what, I had 25 leads, and those probably about 3 or 4 mortgage protection, and then the remaining are final expense. And I had some instant purchase that I did, and just shot me about 30 of them in there too, kind of mix it in with a different blend. You can't be scared. Like Terry said, scared money don't make money. You just got to go and do it. Do the work. It'll happen. I'm telling you, just do the work.
You can't beat the numbers, Alfonso.
Beat the numbers. I'm telling you, that was over 55 leads. Hey, that's just what I did. You know what I mean? I'm talking about it works. So out of that, I spent about $1,100. $1,100. Okay. And still, I'm working those leads as well as, doing them right now, still going through them, still making the calls. I don't get rid of them. If they don't answer, I go and pop, knock on the door. Hey, here I am, and try to help that family out. But every situation, people's situations are different. Sometimes they're working, sometimes they're not at home. And when you can catch them at home, they help you, you can help them.
There you go. Okay. I think that's big. So about 55 leads total, 25 A's, and then 30 of like the A1, A2, A3 RWs. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So good stuff there. Now, Alfonso, I see you recruiting. I see people on your team writing business. What are you projecting your team doing this month?
I tell you what, Mike, I am so excited. That 40-40, man, Andy tricked me. He tricked me. And I went through and fell for the okie doke. That's what we call it. But I tell you what, it works. It worked because I get to recruit, I get the chance to make money, and I get a chance to go on a trip. Now, what business gives you that opportunity? So my team probably this month is going to do between $50,000 to $100,000.
That's jamming.
I never expected it to flow that fast, but unfortunately, if you put the work in, you can get the result. Communication, coaching, and work. It'll work every time. And I'm learning that as I grow each and every day.
Okay, there we go. Hey, massive. That's crazy. Massive. Good stuff. Fired up for you, fired up for your wife is helping you out along the way. Good stuff, Alfonso. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
You know what Alfonso said? He said he was, if you saw him, heard him at the beginning, he said he was in the education business.
Yes.
That was you like your teacher and administration,
administrator,
school, stuff like that. So, but hey, you're still in the education business.
That's it. You're right.
Because that's what we do. You're
Every
a
day.
licensed professional in the education of insurance and financial products.
There you
Tell you
go.
what.
Helping families out. That's it. That's all we can do.
Yeah, got that right. Oh man.
Good job, Fonz.
Thank you so much.
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate it.
All right.
Okay.
Who you want to move on to next?
Let's jump over to let's get my buddy Tad. Tad Peterson.
Tad
Hey
Peterson.
guys,
There you
Hey,
go.
man.
He looks like he's out there running some appointments right now. He's
Yes,
in his
I
car
am.
right now.
that's right. I'm out here running.
All right. Well, Tad, tell everybody where you're at. What part of the world are you in?
I am in the great state of Idaho.
All right. So Idaho, you're out there having fun. What was your
Yes, sir.
background before you jumped on with us?
So I've done lots of things. Mike started out as a pig farmer when I was a kid. Was on the farm for 18 years, then wholesale retail for about 25, 35 years until I answered that Craigslist ad with Mr. Paul Epstein. Or
Okay.
I wish I would have found it 25, 30 years ago. I'd be a millionaire.
There we go. Hey, I know we're going to get into like how you're rocking and doing 10,000 a week. I want you to take us back to when you got started, because I think we're getting a new person. I can hear there's a new person.
Do I have to?
Yes, you do, because there's a new person who's probably doing about as good as you did in your first couple of weeks, is tuned in and like, well, these are just all veterans. They probably just found them that way. They probably just started that way. And, I think that's something that I want to kind of pull the rug back, and I want you to be very transparent about what it looked like when you got started, Tad.
Oh, I was bad, Mike. Like I was bad. Like I'll never forget. I was sitting at my desk in my house in Tampa, and I was having a conversation with you and Paul on the phone, and I was taking notes like a madman. And I just remember, I guess the best way to put it is you like breathe life into me. I was just like it. I would just let people off the hook. I would just be like, okay, well, talk to you later, whatever, and let the appointment go. And I've had a few clients pass away. I think that probably helps in this business a little bit. 37-year-old with a wife and 3 kids, got enough mortgage protection to take care of his family for 5 years. You have that happen and change some lives.
So,
and being bad and then having that happen, you get a new level of boldness, and you try and what Megan says, be the adult in the room, which is really difficult sometimes, especially when you're talking to a 70-year-old. But you know what? I've been thrown out of a house before.
yeah. Now, were you thrown out of the house when you were bad, or when now that you're good?
Well, they think I was bad, but I think I was good.
Okay.
because
All right.
he didn't want to take care of his wife. And
Hey,
You're doing your job, man. You're
That's
making
right.
it
That's
happen.
right.
Okay, so now that you're good, you got a thimble full of boldness, and you ain't scared of rejection, because
Yep.
they're not rejecting you in that case. It probably just he don't love his wife as much as you think he should.
Exactly.
Okay, now here's something I want to come back. When you said you was bad before, when you was bad, you said that you were, just to clarify, so you said you would let people off the hook. So does that mean like you could book the appointments, but you would get there and you'd have conversations, but you weren't able to help them jump into their protection that they needed?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, Mike. So
Oh, you're muted.
Tad, you hit your audio mute. Tad,
He's having a good
he is.
conversation right now.
I know. See, this is an example when Tad was bad. He thought everybody was listening to him, but they couldn't hear him. So Tad, oh, Tad.
Hey, that was good, what you just said.
I'll come in. Sorry.
All right.
So the biggest thing, like having everything at your disposal as a new agent, making notes for yourself. Like if they don't get this, they can get that. Like accidental critical illness, are way less expensive than regular life insurance. At least it's a level of protection of some type. Just yesterday I had a lady She already had some life insurance, and I got a critical illness policy. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's just having all the tools.
Hey, Tad, when you were bad, did as Paul helped you out, was Paul pouring into you and helping get leads in your hands as you got started, as you were making mistakes and being patient with you?
Yeah. Sometimes we would work on leads. I remember specifically a time of getting like $640 worth of leads from right after a January convention. I got all fired up. I got a bunch of leads. And the weird part is I never got it. Like I'd get $600 worth of leads and I'd go write, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000 worth of business. And then I go back to getting $300 or $400 worth of leads. It never sunk in. And I talked to Scar about a year and a half ago. He's like, yeah, I get $1,000 leads a week. And I'm like, oh my gosh, so much money. And now that's what I'm spending. And now I'm writing 10, 12,000 every week.
There we go. So that's a big deal. So you stepped up that. So let's give us a breakdown of last week. So
okay.
So how much did we invest in leads? What kind of lead mix did we have?
Okay, so I've got a GMR in the area in Ada and Candy County, and it was about $570 in those leads. And then I did an instant purchase. I got another 40 leads instant purchase. And so my overall lead bill is about $832 last week.
Okay. Now, when the instant purchase, were those A1s, A2s, A3s, or Ws, or
everything, Mike. The only thing I don't think I got was any RWs, but I got everything else.
Okay, but it's all direct mail. So you haven't jumped into the other tools yet. That's fine. I just want people to understand what you're using. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. Good. So how many dials did you make? What was the breakdown on dials, connects? How many families did you sit down with?
Okay. So I did 500 dials. 48 connects. 38 appointments. I sat 20 of those appointments. Now that number's a little bit off because I wrote 6 applications last Monday. Like, it was a crazy day. My aunts got some neighbors. They were over one day, went over some policies they had. Long story short, basically wrote both of them critical illness, both of them accidental policies, saved them about $40 a month each. So that was 4 policies right there. And then I wrote a gentleman that I talked to a while back, has a trucking company, didn't want to make an investment with National Life Group for $1 million policy, was a smoker, super expensive, kept coming back into my mind. This guy needs a $500,000 accidental. Called him up and he bought it right then. Had a current client call me in, a little bit freaked out about COVID, sold her critical illness policy. So like before I even ran an appointment on Tuesday, I already written like $3,000. It was crazy.
That is crazy. So you start off because you had some good interaction on the phone and rocked it out. But hey, 500 dials. It's like, I know some people say, I'm willing to drop in, the lead money, but then they're not willing to back it up with the dials. And I think, and sometimes you can have, some people say, well, if I invest in $1,000 in leads, I shouldn't have to make 500 dials. They're suddenly become too good for doing the work. And I'm like, God, you have to be so arrogant, just like, you ain't going to make it if you're that way. I mean, It's going to take leads and dials to get the appointments. What do you want me to tell you? And some weeks you might get 40 appointments in with like 110 dials. It's going to be weird some weeks. You're just going to have to dig in a little bit.
I just want to say, you said it was weird, Tad, that you were able to help those 3 or 4 families before your week even started. I don't think it's weird. What I think it is the activity that you've been consistently putting in is starting to build up, and then you're starting to get these serendipities, if you want to call them, or people reaching out to you. It's not weird. It's you creating the activity required, and then all of a sudden people are starting to call you and reach out to you, and you're starting to get more referrals, and you're starting, see what I'm saying? It's a buildup. It's not a weird thing, but that happens to everybody when they're putting in enough activity in, those things start happening.
Yeah, it's weird if you ain't been doing it consistently, but as you build it up, then it's like, and you start to expect it. My clients call me all the time. My clients call me asking for policies. Right? You'd be surprised. It happens at least 3 times a week.
Expect it and speak it.
Speak it.
Expect it and speak it.
Yeah.
And those things will happen.
I provide the best service in all of Idaho. Hell, if clients ain't calling me, they should be.
Yeah. the 40/40. You know, I love that Andy started that. I'm like, man, it used to be 20/20. Now it's 40/40. Now I think that's the greatest thing. One of the things that I've been hearing a lot about, maybe that's why, is fail faster. And that's what 40/40 gets you to do. You're just going to make more mistakes faster. You're going to get better that much faster. Mike, you were talking about new people and them getting better faster. That is the way to do it. I mean, look at Jake and Beret. Holy cow. Those guys are unbelievable. 1 year, 2 years, whatever they've been with us, short time, and they're just cranking it. And they're failing fast. Huge.
Yeah. Hey, it's a big deal. Big deal. All right, Tad, appreciate you. And hey, but what do you see? What do you see your business doing? Like, what are you shooting for personal production for?
I'm Mike Winnie.
There we go.
One more time.
Yes. All right. So this year, Tad, what are you fighting for your personal premium goal for 2021?
$500,000.
$500,000.
That's what I'm talking about.
500,000.
That's
My
right.
team's doing 50. We're shooting for 100, and I'm going to do $500,000 on my own.
There we go, buddy. Hey, it's amazing. I see it happening before our eyes. All right, Bo, your team's moving 100,000 a month. That's great. Keep it up. 40/40.
All right.
All right. All right. Miss Megan Wood, girl, I see you with your lint roller there. Did you have a dog appointment earlier?
For just loving on me.
Or I wasn't sure if that was the latest in COVID protection, if you're like rolling on or something like that.
Oh, on.
Roll on the sanitizer.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So, Megan, for those that don't know, you let them know where you're living, what you did for work beforehand. We'll kind of jump into last week a little bit.
Okay, cool. I live in a really small town called Darlington, Indiana. Not very many people know about that town, so I always say I live in Crawfordsville. I grew up there, lived there all my life. I was a waitress and a bartender. I was 17 and I was a hostess at Applebee's. When I got old enough, I became a waitress. And then when I got a little bit older, I became a bartender. So I was just moving my way up, making about $30,000 a year. I had my little boy, and we had bought a house, and I had got a mortgage protection lead in the mail, saying that if anything happened to me, then my house would be paid off. I love my boy, so I'm gonna make sure that happens. So I filled it out, didn't think anything. I had a woman come over to my house. She helped me out. And then she's like, I don't know if you know anybody that would like to, help us out, make some extra money. I'm like, yeah, me. I can definitely do that. Yeah, I know somebody. But yeah, she was a bartender, so it was very, very nice. And I'm like, gosh, I mean, if you can do it, I mean, I surely can do it. Right? So yeah, it's changed my life. It has changed my life. I was going in at 4 o'clock every day, closing the restaurant down at midnight, getting home at 1 o'clock in the morning, taking a shower, getting to bed at 2, just to wake up with my son at 6 a.m. the very next day, every day. I was what they called a walking zombie, not living at all. So the Alliance has really saved my life for many reasons, and it's changed my son's life. We go on vacations, like 7 vacations a year, but mostly it's like I am raising my son to know that his mom's a hard worker. My son is going to look at me and say, man, look at all the stuff that she has done for me. Look how much she changed our lives. I'll never let my son see a failure in me. So,
hey, that's huge. That's huge. Hey, we get more moms and dads thinking that way about their kids. We're going to change America.
We're
That's
changing
right.
the world. We're world changers.
We're changing
That's
the
what
world.
We are one person at a time.
One person, one example, one witness is going to be big. All right. So, Megan, let's give people a lowdown on last week. Like, you just start with kind of lead mix. How many dials did you make, or did you make any dials to book your initial appointments?
Okay, so I did 1,500 is what I paid in direct mail leads, and then $300 in Bang Bang. Off of those, I did 70 door knocks. I sat with 50 people off of those door knocks, and I submitted 67 applications.
All right. So you sat with 50.
What was the premium?
How much premium was that?
65,680.
All right. 65,000 minute business. All right. That's crazy talk. Now, of the 67 apps, how many of those came from face-to-face appointments, and how many did you do telesales on as a secondary sale?
40 apps came from door knocks. 30 came from secondary sales.
So 37 from door knocks and 30 from the secondary sales?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right. So you didn't help of the 70 door knocks. You might have sat with 50, but you didn't help. No, all 50 necessarily is what I'm picking up. So did some people tell you no?
Yeah, there was a couple.
There's a few in there. All right. I just think it's like, hey, people like, no, does Megan get no's? You know? All right. So, and I know we've got a video about that out there talking about what you say when you do an instant door knock, but just give us a real quick version or rundown of what it is you do when you're booking an appointment from a lead that you've not yet called. Give us a quick methodology of what you're doing to book that appointment.
Okay. So I'm driving to the house. I see the house and I park down the road just a little bit. I don't want to walk too far, but just a little bit. So they can't, so they don't know I'm pulling up in my car to go to their house. I got my phone, my lead in my hands, my sticky note, the delivery notice that we use in my hand. I have my mask in my hand and my bag with all my stuff. Get out of my car, and then I go up to the house. And if they're outside or if they're looking out their window, I'm waving and smiling, hi. And then I'll even say, George, that's you, as I'm walking, if they're outside. But I knock on the door, and they come up to the door with everything in my hand. I don't have my mask on when I do it. And I'll say, I'll do it with you, Mike. I'll say, Mike? You say, yeah. Okay. I go, hey, I was just down the road, and I tried calling you. I tried calling a couple times last week, but I know if you're anything like me, you don't recognize the phone number, so you probably didn't recognize it, so you didn't answer. I understand. But I was just down the road, and I saw this. This was the next one that I was supposed to go to, so I figured I'd swing by and see if you were home, and here you are. So this is the little card that it looks like you and Noelle had filled out. It's about the state-regulated program. If something happens to you, all your final expenses, burial, cremation, that kind of thing is taken care of. So I'm the one, because I live in this area here, I'm the one that they gave it to me so I can get you the information. It takes a couple minutes if you got a couple minutes for me.
Okay, and I'm going to say, yeah, I guess we can do that. I might be a little bewildered, but I was like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So that actually happened today. I had Alicia with me today, and we were doing some drive-bys and stuff. So I did the same exact thing. They look at Alicia, and they look at me. Come on in. They look at Alicia, and they look at me, and they're like, okay, come on in. But anyway, so we sat down. We made a friend. We were able to help them out. So.
Okay. So I think that's big. And for those that are wondering, is this what she does? Yes. And so did you book any face-to-face appointments by calling first? Did you door knock everyone that she went to for the first time?
The only ones I would call first is the ones that I couldn't find the house. Like, go under the bridge, down the alley, across the street, up the stairs, and then there's a letter D on it. That's mine. Like, okay. Walk them in. Those are the ones I call.
Okay. All right. So you get some weird ones that you can't find them on the drive-by. That's why. Okay. All right. So Megan, it's like, I think when I was looking at the leaderboard, I haven't seen if you're number one yet here today, but talk to me about, what's your premium goal for the year? What are we fighting for? What are we doing?
I'm going, my my goal is no less than 1 million. But if I go over 1 million, then that's fantastic. But my goal is 1 million issue paid. And I got to say, I think it's the persistency in what you do. I'm not worried about one app. You know what I mean?
So if somebody happens to be near the top on the leaderboard, you ain't scared about them catching you or staying on top?
Not with one application, no.
Okay. All right. So talk to us. How do you feel about the team and the fact that the team is rising their level of what they're doing, and how do you feel in terms of competition?
I'm excited. Like, you know, it's funny, like when you start to talk to more people, your team starts growing. And when you really like lean into them and you really help them, they start growing. It's like, it's amazing. So we are doing 200,000 and we're going on 500,000. I'm fired up. I'm excited.
Lakewood team had the first month of agency manager qualification in February, focused on getting it done in May and doing it with a $200,000 in March. Excuse me.
Getting it done in March.
Getting it done in March.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, girl, proud of you. That's awesome. And it's, you know, it's fun watching other people stepping up. I mean, Junior Korea, not with us on this call today, but my man Junior, I mean, this guy, you know, his family fought a price to get over from Cuba. He's now got a family coming on his own. And this dude is like, hey, I ain't scared to compete. I see my team growing big. He says, he's just like, look,
he's focused.
He's focused. He's like, I can compete with Megan Wood. I can compete with the rest of the team. I love the team and its competition, what it does to set the higher level for me. You know, he's talking about issuing $700,000-800,000 this year. It's just like crazy stuff that we're seeing him do and watching his team rise to that level. So excited for Junior and what he's doing. But Megan, thank you for being here. Thank you for setting an example and raising the bar higher over last year.
I just want to come back to real quickly before we move on Megan going out and door knocking her leads. The area that you're in is a very small area, right, Megan? So you're able to do your door knock pretty close together, right? How are you able to create that momentum of door knocks? Are you running from here to there? I think people are kind of maybe questioning that part of it.
Yeah. How do you organize that?
Well, I was going to show you on my phone, but that's what I'm talking in. So I'm like, where's my phone? I'm like, oh, okay. So it's an app. Hang on. I'm going to bring it up. Hang on 1 second. It's an app and it's called Road Warrior. It's called Road Warrior. So I put in all my leads. I got a stack of them, and I put them all into the Road Warrior app. And I hit like condense. Hey, there it is. Thank you. I hit that button, and it tells me the closest one that I am to, the next closest, the next closest, the next closest one. So really, before I started using that, I would have picked the one that I thought would look good. I'm like, oh, Henry is going to be a good one. I'm going there first. I know this is going to be it. But it was 20 minutes away when the next house was literally 1 minute. So it's helped me out a lot and just knocking them out. And it's funny because when I started using that, more people are actually there when it programs it for you. Must be God.
Okay.
More people are there when it programs it for you.
Yes,
exactly. Just use the tool.
Don't hold the lead up to someone. Ooh, I wonder if this one's got a watermark. Like you printed it on your paper.
Yeah, that's your coffee stain from earlier.
Yeah. So.
God, really. It's telling you the places to go that the people are going to be there. Go to those places.
Okay, that's big. And whether you use Road Warrior, if you have another app that helps you with scheduling time efficiently, geographically, hey, fantastic. But having a tool like that, there's others out there, but Road Warrior is a good one. So
I think it's just being efficient with your time when you're doing those things. The same thing as dialing, being efficient with your dial time, being efficient with your door knock time. So good job, Megan. Thank you.
Hey, somebody just asked a quick question. They said, are you programming or setting up the app themselves? They said, or do the staff do it for you?
I type in my lead.
Like we
But-
didn't hear you.
Say that one more time. It didn't come through.
Am I programming like the
Your road
address?
warrior, who types them all in? Do you do that yourself? You do it.
I do.
When do you
I
do
do.
it? When do you do it?
When I get in my car and I'm ready to go.
How long does it take you to put in like the 30 or 40 or however many you got to put in?
Not very long. I mean, they're just addresses.
Okay.
Not very long.
Just
Or
say,
you know, plan stuff the night before as well.
Okay.
So if that's one of the things that I try to get done the night before.
Okay.
If not, then I just do it when I'm in the car. I don't know if you wanted me to touch base about my assistants. You said something earlier.
Oh, that's right. Hey, staff is helping you grow, right? What's something you learned about staff last week?
They gotta work. Like, they gotta work. If they're not helping you grow, then why do you put so much time into the people that aren't helping you grow? So it's like, I want to grow. I'm going places. And it's like, I want my staff, they're there to help me get there. So if they're not helping me get there, then why am I still hanging on to them? Why am I still putting my energy into them? Because they're not helping me go where I want to go. So I've learned a lot about staff in the past year.
What did you specifically get to do this past weekend?
I got to fire somebody for the first time. Bobby Kraft trained me on that. He wouldn't leave my side, and then the very next day, fired her after I got my laptop.
Okay. After you got your laptop back. Get
From you,
your
Noel,
tools
thank
back. All right, well, that's good.
Get your tools back
There's
first.
a lot to learn when you start to hire staff. Hey, speaking of
And
Robbie
then I
Kraft,
hired a new one. And then I hired a new one, and she's
I
killing
do.
it. She's
better
doing
than the other one. That's good. Don't be scared. You can find a better one. Okay, that's big. And if there's a staff listening, we love you. You're a big part of our business, and keep working hard because we need you.
They're listening.
They're listening. All right. Speaking of Robbie Kraft, Tia, there's another PDF file that we sent you. If you could pull it up. I tell you what, Robbie and the ARC team have just been doing some crazy stuff. And we've talked about the CRM and what's there, but this is a new thing that was launched last week, and it's called the My Dashboard. And it's got the sales as recruiting. But I'll tell you the one thing I love is that money by direct leg and then the money agent list. So if you log into the ARC and you click on my business and then you expand the My Dashboard, that money agent list, $ agent list shows you everybody in your team, and it can show you their last 3 paychecks. So like a week of paychecks or deposits, because we get 3 deposits a week. It can then show you can rank them in order of who's got the most money month to date, and it can show you who's got the most deposits year to date, and it'll rank them. And so I just love that view because it's exciting. What's exciting is the number of people that are already over 100,000 year to date in income. And we're at March 10th, and we've already got a few folks over 100,000 in deposits year to date on the team. And it's just like, my gosh, how many people are going to be stepping up to $1 million a year run rate this year? How many people are going to be over 500,000 within our organization? And we are breaking records like crazy. And just the fact that the ARC pulls all that together and lets us see that, it's like, oh my gosh. In fact, it's kind of like, how some people on your team are pretenders. Well, this filters out the pretenders. This is kind of like, when you look at that deposits for the year, this is like going up to the gates of heaven with St. Peter, and he's telling you, yep, you're in, or no, you're not. Here's your money. It's like, I just love it. It's a clear view, and it ranks them, and it's just pretty cool. So, Robbie, thank you for putting that together. There is more cool stuff coming, as the ARC is this tool to help you understand your business and grow your business and figure out where do I need to put more resources as the business is growing. So, Tia, thank you for sharing that. We're going to keep moving here. You can take that down. Chris Manifold, buddy, another guy that's smoking, doing 10,000 a week out of Indianapolis, part of Megan's team. Chris, what was you doing full time a year ago today?
Well, I was working for a small startup. I was a director of account management. I had several positions with that company, director of operations, general manager, stuff like that. Basically working in the corporate world, 40 plus hours a week. being told what I was worth, and just hoping for an opportunity like this. And Megan came along and just kept taking the next step, and here I am, still taking the next step.
There we go. Crazy. Could you picture a year ago where you are now?
Not at all. I mean, just wrote 10,000 last week. I think I can remember actually thinking about how writing 10,000, I was like, man, if I ever write 10,000 in a week, I'm taking the next month off or something like that,
Don't do that.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Let's pour on.
Yeah, still pushing hard. I now I have a completely different perspective. I see the width and the depth of the opportunity, and just trying to do the best I can to take advantage of as much of it as I can. So pushing hard.
Crazy. In fact, something to point out, because you spent a day with Andy, you got to be in that suite. What did you take away from being in that suite as Andy's like getting his calendar out and just crazy things are happening last Friday night?
Saying sort of the same thing, just he's always pushing, he's sees the opportunities in front of him. And, I want to do the same thing. I want to just make the most out of the opportunity I have here. And that's what I really took away from what he was doing.
Yeah. Hey, that's crazy good. Give us a snapshot of last week, starting with how much premium did you write?
So premium was just over 10,000, 10,356. I did 306 dials, 38 contacts, 21 appointments, 12 sits, 8 apps. And that was also a 3-day week because we spent that one day with Andy at the boot camp. So I lost a day that week with about $1,000 in lead investment, 700 in GMR, and 300 in Bang Bang. So, yeah.
Okay. What's funny? It just kind of dawned on me. I'll have some people say, "Oh man, I don't know if I can take a good day to go to see Andy and be out of the field. It's going to cost me money. You'd probably have me working." And what's crazy is I find the people that have that mindset will actually have a smaller week. It's almost like because they're chasing, wisdom you're chasing jewels instead of wisdom. They're not even getting the jewels. And being around, especially as limited as the get-togethers have been, if you've got an opportunity to be around, man, fight for it, take advantage of it. It's like if one thing I've learned is don't take for granted our ability to associate. If you have an invite, oh my gosh,
that's the biggest thing.
Jump on it, seize it because you need it. We all need it, and
everybody's invited to these boot camps. They got COVID rules. You got to sign up on the.
There's limits.
On the Everbright or Eventbrite thing.
Yeah, and really
but
just I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, just to drive that point home, the day after I wrote I spent the day with Andy, that was half of my AP for the week was in that one day. So,
in fact, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so like if you know that there's an event or something happening, about these dates that Andy we just laid out at the beginning of the call where Andy's going to be. Plan ahead your calendar for that time and work your schedule around that. But certainly don't miss an opportunity to get around multimillionaire. I mean, heck, that doesn't happen every day.
Yeah, that's big. So Chris, you were struggling a little bit on the phone, even though you are Chris bleeping Manifold, stud producer and all. Talk about how you were feeling about your phone skills maybe 2 weeks ago, and then what we did last Thursday, and kind of who helped you make some adjustments to kind of fine tune your engine.
Yeah, I don't really know what it was or how I got to this spot, but I was just in a spot where dials just weren't going the way I wanted them to go. Just the numbers weren't there for my performance. I didn't feel good about it, and so. You hooked me up with Charity from President's Club, and so we spent about an hour on a Zoom session, and we talked a little bit and went over a few things and did a couple of dials, set 3 appointments in that hour. Didn't dial the whole time, but set 3 appointments in that hour. And then I think an hour after I was done with that Zoom session, I booked up the rest of my day. So, you know, and it's continued into this week. You know, I had a really successful dial session on Monday. My week is going really good. And in fact, I've got my numbers right here. And so far this week, I've already written 8,200 in AP. So yeah.
That was just from yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, and a little bit this morning.
to be clear, I wrote 1 this morning. So
Okay. All right, so a day and a half. We still got 2.5 days. Bo, this could be your record-breaking week.
yeah.
But here's what I'll come back to. Okay, we can all stumble. And it don't matter if you've been a stud. If you stumble, you're allowed to ask for help.
Yeah.
You are allowed to ask for help, whether it's a Chris Manifold or anybody else. We're all encouraged to get help. You're not too good for help. Please. But everybody thinks I'm a stud. I can't ask for help. You'll be weak. No, you'll be broke with that kind of attitude. Get yourself some help. And Charity has been a personal producing stud, and she's very good on the phone, and she's part of President's Club, and she's there to help you or an agent on your team. So if you or your manager is part of President's Club and you're struggling on the phone, I would be, Clay Murtis, how do I get a hold? In fact, you should be sending a text to Clay right now. If you or someone on your team needs help with your appointment setting, I would be text, Clay, how do I get a hold of Charity? I got someone that needs her help. Can we coordinate this? I would be leveraging that resource. Guess what? That's another alliance advantage. I hope you're taking advantage of it to make your team bigger and better. All right, Chris, thank you for the example.
Let's rock on. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks,
Jara,
guys.
you want to hop on the line? We didn't already talk to Jara yet.
Hey guys, can you
Yep.
hear me okay?
Hey, Jara, give a high level where you are and how you got started with.
So I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I've been with the Alliance here about 3 years now. In fact, I was telling Joseph just the other day that I remember the first day that I ever ran appointments 3 years ago was on my actual birthday. And my birthday was last week on the 3rd. So it was like officially 3 years. So that was kind of fun because I remember, you know, you're nervous. It's your first appointments. And they're like, so how long you been doing this? And I'm like, well, it's my first day. You know?
Happy birthday.
It was fun. Right. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's my birthday. You want to, you know, I can help you out. But yeah, grateful to be here. It's amazing how it just keeps getting gooder and gooder, just how everything has, you know, the things that we can do, the support that we have. I mean, we've always had a system and a lot of support, but it's just amazing. We're constantly, you know, bringing on new carriers, able to help families with so many different types of products now, like with Medicare and the critical illness and all the health products. Like, it's just amazing the things that we can help clients with. So
I'm coming out to Albuquerque here this coming week. I know I think Joseph went up there to Albuquerque to do a boot camp. Was that last week?
it was last Monday. Yeah.
Last Monday. So tell us about your week that week. How the numbers for your week.
You talking about my record week?
Your week you just had.
So week before last, I had a record week, which was about 23,000 submitted.
Tell us. Everybody's on the edge of their seats.
So I have a GMR set up in Albuquerque, and then I'm also licensed in Texas. So I've also got a GMR set up in El Paso and Las Cruces, which is about 30 to 45 minutes from each other. So about twice a month, I'll go down there and do, you know, I'll let the GMR stack up and I'll go down and I'll just, you know, kill it. So normally I'll spend a couple of days, but this time I decided, you know what, I'm gonna spend an extra day and try to book up some extra appointments. So I spent that extra day, helped some families Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I was able to book 51 appointments. I sat with 33, and I ended up writing that 23,600. It was 21 apps.
Okay. So 21 apps. So it's not like it was all one big one, bunch of apps. But biggest thing I heard was a bunch of work and a solid lead investment. I mean, and I'm hoping people are starting to see a pattern here. Everybody, there's nobody here that got lucky and had one $8,000 app. I mean, I'm happy for the people if you do one big IUL. We love that.
We'll take them.
We'll take it. But the consistent winners are backing it up with consistent lead investment, consistent dials. And so it's just like, and I hope you see this isn't just one lucky agent on our team. This is the core of our team that's doing this. And we could have gotten a few more here, and we're not looking outside of our team. This is just within our world, but I know there's other people in the Alliance doing the same thing. So, all right. So Jara, talk to us about like kind of how you kind of grew into that mindset. What helped you get to that level and give you the confidence to step up to that?
Well, when I look at my activity book, for me, I try to schedule out, every single amount of time, whether it's family time or lunch with a friend or appointments or dial time. Like I'm strategizing my schedule so that if, like I've got my dial time. So to book up those 51 appointments, that was at least, 12 to 15 hours of dial time. I think it was like, 6 or 7 hours on Monday of like consistent dials and 6 to 7 hours on Thursday, so I had to schedule in that time in order to book up those appointments, and then I've got time in my calendar for interviews and recruiting. And then I've got time in my calendar for those scheduled appointments. Okay.
That's big.
So it's whatever you have focused on your schedule or in your schedule, that's what you're focused on. That's right. What you're doing, right? If it's dialing for, your appointments, you're working, you're hitting the numbers up until the whatever you need to do to dial. Do you recall how many dials it took to set that up? Or were they door knocks?
It was 353 dials.
353?
353. I connected with 79, booked 51, sat 33. So now part of that though too is that I'm constantly trying to make sure that I'm being effective with my time as well. So I've got leads ready to go as I'm out running appointments so that if I have a no-show, I'm like, I've got leads ready to go so that I can do some door knocks. And there were a few families, in fact, because you're not going to, sit with 100%. We talked about that. Book 3, sit 2, help 1. And so when you have those no-shows, because you're going to have them, be prepared to be able to, okay, I've got some leads ready to go that I can door knock. And I was able to sit down with a few families right then and there. So I'm not just sitting there twiddling my thumbs waiting for the next appointment.
I think that's massive.
That is massive. Yeah, that is. Whew, all right. So you also recruit, and we see you up there on that 40-40 leaderboard. Talk to us about kind of what's, in fact, personal production. Where are you, what level are you competing for this year? Where are you going to end up at the end of the year, Jara?
Well, I love how Megan talks about, she's not competing with anybody else. She's competing with herself. And I think that that's really inspiring. And her setting that bar, at the beginning of the year, I was like, well, maybe I can go for 250, right? And then it's like, one of my mentors told me one time, if your goal is not scary, if your goal's not big enough, if it doesn't scare you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, that number's not really that scary. So what if we just doubled that and went for 500? And just looking at Megan's example and setting that bar, like, okay, if I just do what works and start to put, she wrote 67,000 just last week. So it's like, if I can start to implement some of that stuff, doing the door knocks and, making that list and doing secondary sales and doing everything that I can do, thinking about what's the most that I can do versus what's the minimum that I can do. If I have that mindset versus, what's the least I can do, hey, I can't do it on my own. I've got to communicate. I've got to, continue to invest in leads, so it's like, what's the most that I can invest in leads in order to, reach my goal? What's the most appointments I can book in a week? What is the most amount of door knocks that I can do? So setting that bar, like what's the most that I can do in order to make it happen, then and speaking it, like, is it scary? Yes. But if I just continue to invest, work the system, communicate, set the example, and it'll happen.
There we go.
Sometimes we get people that say, hey, you're running 51 appointments a week, Jara. How in the world do you add in the recruiting side? Because you hit the 40-40 and you've done that for several weeks. How do you know how many interviews you completed or how many new people you talked to last week? And how are you incorporating that with running appointments? Because I feel like there's probably people wondering out there.
So for me, it's all about the schedule. So I've got scheduled time in my calendar to do interviews. I have my assistant, Jessica. She helps, call and responders for me and helps book interviews on my calendar. So I've got that. And then the other thing that I've started doing is just working my warm market. And like, for example, I haven't, I lived in Hawaii there for a while. There's a lot of people that I haven't really been in touch with that maybe I don't have their phone numbers, but I've got my social media. I've got LinkedIn, I've got my Facebook. So like the other night, I stayed up till midnight just going through my LinkedIn account, just like sending people messages like, hey, haven't talked to you in forever. Just trying to reconnect with friends, during this whole crazy COVID craziness, how's life been treating you these days? And just like copy paste, just sending messages to people like, hey, we should catch up. Here's my number. What's your number? So just going through that to be able to reconnect with people that way. And then being able to have that conversation where it's like, oh, let's grab coffee and catch up. Or like, hey, by the way, what are you up to these days? And then when they ask me, oh, I've got, I'm doing this awesome insurance business. We're like crazy busy right now. In fact, we're hiring if you know of anyone who can help us out, and just kind of making those connections. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. And then kind of calling people in between appointments or, scheduling times to meet with them or reconnect. And so doing that, booked interviews. And then as I'm out and about, just talking to people. Like there was a time that I went into Dollar Tree and, was just chatting with the worker there and, hey, you open to making some extra money. And another guy that I talked to at CVS as I, ran to the restroom in between appointments, so just trying to constantly have that on my mind and talk to people.
That's awesome.
All right.
Wherever you are. All right.
Hey, what do you see your team doing volume wise? What are y'all doing this month? What's the Jared Gonzalez team closing this month out at, and where y'all going to be at here coming up?
Well, I need to check the numbers, but I know Jake and Bray are out there killing it. We've got Jake Wilson out there in Minneapolis. So I don't even know where we're at right now.
I see your team doing 100,000 this month and moving to $250,000. So we just need to speak it. 100,000 a month is what Gonzalez team's doing here in March. So awesome. Rock and roll, guys. Proud of you.
All right. Thanks, Jared. Okay, James and Pam. So we're coming down to the wire here.
I know. We got
got a lot to squeeze in. So James and Pam.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for having us on. Hi, everyone. So we're James and Pam Lara. We're in Phoenix, Arizona. We were hired by Joseph Dukes about 5 years ago. And we're just fired up. I mean, everything is going the way it's supposed to, putting in the effort and doing what you're supposed to do. And the success kind of takes care of itself. So we're just excited about the future and everything else that's coming.
Okay. And we've been watching y'all popping multiple, back to back weeks of 10,000 plus a week. And y'all ain't just doing like 10,000 or 11,000. Last couple of weeks, I think y'all been like, was it 17,000 last week and close to before?
And they're hiring people all across the country.
Yeah. That's what we're most excited about is like helping other people to be able to enjoy, the lifestyle that we're able to enjoy by, being part of this business. So I think in the last 3 weeks, we're over 40,000 in submitted premium. But, this last week we had, we invested around $1,100 leads. We got some from our GMR. We got some from, instant purchase. We got 30 internet leads. and Pam does the dialing while she sends me out to do the door knocks. So we're able to work together, which definitely compounds our time that we're able to put into the business. So Pam made 429 dials and she spoke to 52 people. She set 41 appointments. And that's like a combination of some of them were over the phone and some of them were in person. And last week we were able to submit over 17,000 in premium, just working the system, putting in the effort.
Okay. Another example of $1,000 plus lead budget and a lot of dials. In fact, if you listen, I think everybody here, with the exception of Megan, who did all of hers on door knocks, if you look, I mean, everybody, I think the minimum dial count for anybody was like 250 dials. The range is 250 to 500 dials for the week, and like $700 to $1,100 or $1,200, Megan, $1,700 in leads. And so I'm hoping everybody just sees this trend that there's nobody here that's afraid to invest and bet on themselves, and nobody here is afraid of the work. And it's just like, and then I know they're all communicating like crazy, and those are the three ingredients this business takes. But that's amazing. I got more stuff I want to ask you, but let's I want to get to Joseph too. You mentioned the instant internet leads. Y'all having success and seeing success. You're starting to work with those in addition to your GMR.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know how many you said? You said you got 30 of those.
We get about 30 a week. Through some of them are from MailPro and some of them are right through NAA. They have leads that we can get through them, and Pam usually books probably about 10 appointments from those 30 leads a week that we get from them. Would you say that's about right?
Yeah, that's about right. But also you have to remember too, they don't expire. So just because I didn't set it this week, you know, I'm not calling.
Oh, you mean you can call them again next week? Next time?
Oh, they're good. They're good next week. So
that's a good tip right there.
Yeah.
They don't expire.
We call them the Schwarzenegger Terminator leads. You know why? I'll be back. I'll be back.
That's good stuff.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so what do y'all see yourself? What level are y'all competing for premium this year?
Oh, we're going to do a minimum of $500,000 just personally. And, you know, we're expecting our team to be right about 100,000 a month, you know, within the next couple of months, because they're following suit. They're getting excited. They're seeing what's available to them if they put in the work. And that's really all it is concentrating on the work. You do the work, you can't not have the success as long as you're following the system, keeping plugged in to the support staff and the leaders and putting in the effort. There's no way you can fail. And so they're starting to see that. So we're expecting them to be 40-40 also, and, you know, minimum 100,000 a month for the team.
There we go. Hey, massive. Good job. Proud of y'all. Proud of y'all.
Thanks, you guys.
All right. And
All right.
you know, hey,
Go ahead.
right from the tree, following from Joseph Dukes and his leadership, you know, you're watching James and Pam copy and learn from Joseph a lot. But Joseph, as you bring us home, buddy, we just got a couple minutes, and I know you're jamming, your team is jamming. Just share a few things you picked up from Andy and learned and put into work, you know, this past week.
Well, the biggest thing, number one, the more I get around you and Noel, and the more I get around Andy, the smarter I get. And it doesn't matter. I mean, and the crazy thing is that it's a lot of things that I've heard over the, you know, I've been here a while and I've heard them multiple times, and sometimes it takes a while for stuff to sink in. So I'm super grateful that we're going back and you guys, you know, Andy's having all these meetings, because I was able to get around, I was able to get around you guys in the three cities that you talked about last week, and get on the jet and ask a lot of questions. And Robbie Kraft, I love Robbie. He is the architect of the ARC. And in the creation of the Today tab on your CRM. So last week I ran appointments I was in Albuquerque on Monday. I ran appointments on Tuesday, then jumped on a jet to meet you guys out in the Midwest, and then came back and ran appointments on Saturday. And those 2 days I was not in my home area, so I grabbed all the leads out of, and grab leads. I went into my CRM and I just started working my Today tab. Now, I will tell you, the Today tab is a powerful tab, because you know what it is today? It's today. And so when I looked at my Today tab and I found I had 311 things to do on my Today tab on Monday, I worked through my Today tab and didn't get all 311 done. And when I saw Robbie on the next day, he's like, Dukes, you have 323 things to do today. And the great thing on that is that I was able to go into my Today tab. And in fact, I looked this morning, Noel, I currently have 11 people who I have birthday calls to make today. 11 more. It's like every day people are freaking getting birthed. It's nuts. But I was able to call clients truthfully I hadn't talked to in years. And I've done conversions, and I've been going through my Forrester's policies over the years and converting what I call the low-hanging fruit. But this CRM has so freaking powerful. Like if you're brand new and you don't know what it is, work here for 3 months. Then go back and look and see the people that you've talked to and call them because they're all right there. So I was able to write over almost $4,000 in premium, just kind of fooling around trying to figure out my Today tab. And so I am super, super stoked about what this using the Today tab is going to be. And it kind of turned into the joke every day as we went to the next city. Okay, Joseph, who have you called on your Today tab? I'm like, I got 4 more people that had another birthday today. I got to call more people. But
hey, Joseph, hey, two things. One is just to bring us home here. One is, what did it take? What did you have to do to build up your business so you had a big chock full Today tab?
Well, that was what I was going to say, is that I love listening to James and Pam and everybody else on here talking about what they're investing in leads, because I've never been scared to invest. You always told me, hey, if you're willing to do the work and you're willing to put in the emotional and the financial capital to make it happen and in the work, it's going to work. So I've been putting in $1,000 a week in leads for a long time, and not being afraid to invest. And now that I've invested over the time I've been here and helped families, I have 2,500 families that are now in my CRM. So now investing on the front end, knowing it's kind of like a farm. Like I invested in the stock over here. We're building, Andy talks about raising goats. We're kind of like raising goats. We put in the money over here, we put in the work. Now we got a farm, and it's like, hey man, it's time to harvest, but this is a constant harvest that we're going to be able to go back and helping again and again. I have a client that I'm going to write a $178,000 annuity with Chris Norris's help on one of the people that was on my Today tab that I met with Joseph when I was out in New Mexico. So it's there.
Yeah. So it's a massive opportunity, what the Alliance has put together. Thanks to Robbie Kraft for putting the ARC together. Thank you all for being here today. Hey, be on the lookout. Andy's traveling. Everybody people need people, and people need us, and people need you. We are the world changers.
That's right.
Go get you some. We'll talk to you later.
Take
Thanks.
care, guys.
Thanks, everybody.